Ada was rushed to the hospital by Femi, her husband, the same man who had cheated and used violence on her when she tried to confront him for bringing another woman into their matrimonial room. Femi's heart was beating so fast. He was remorseful for the bad way he has treated Ada, the wife who loves him so much. He was scared if he is now growing to be a monster to his own wife. He really prayed that nothing happens to Ada, even if she will lose the 2 months pregnancy. At least, let nothing happen to his lovely wife. Fortunately, Ada survived. When Ada finally woke up from coma, the first thing Ada felt when she opened her eyes was pain. Her whole body ached. Her head was pounding. Her ribs hot, and her face felt swollen. The bright lights above made her squint. She didn't know where she was at first. Then she remembered the slap, the kicks, the way she fell on the floor, Femi's angry face, her own cries, the sharp pain in her stomach before everything went dark. A soft pain made her turn her head since she winced as pain shot through her neck. Femi was sitting beside her hospital bed, his head in his hands. His shoulders were shaking. When he finally looked up, his eyes were red and swollen. "Ada," he said in a weak voice. She didn't say anything. He reached for her hand, but she pulled away. Even that small movement hurt, but she didn't care. She couldn't stand his touch. "Ada, I swear I will never hit you again," Femi said, his voice breaking. "I don't want to lose you. Please forgive me." Ada stared at him. Forgive him? Tears filled her eyes. She wanted to shout at him, to ask him why he always did this, why he always promised to change but never did. Then she saw it, a car key. Femi picked it up and placed it in her hand. "It's yours," he said. "A brand new SUV. I know this won't take away the pain, but it's a gift, a sign that I have changed. No more cheating, no more beating. I will be a better husband." Ada's hand shook as she looked at the key. She should throw it back at him. She should tell him that money and gifts could not fix what he had done. But she didn't. She was too tired. She had no strength left to fight. A single tear rolled down her cheek, then another, and another. Before she knew it, she was crying hard. She cried for her broken heart. She cried for the baby she had lost. She cried for the strong woman she used to be. Femi pulled her into his arms and rocked her gently. "I'm sorry, Ada. Please, just give me one last chance." And the worst part, she did. She had no choice. She forgave Femi. When she left the hospital, her friends and family only saw the new car. They clapped and cheered, saying Femi was a wonderful husband. No one knew the truth, that the car was not a gift. It was a bribe, a golden chain keeping her trapped in a life she could not escape. So she smiled and she lied. Yes, she told them, "My husband is the best." For the first time in years, Ada felt like she was living in a dream. Femi had changed completely. He no longer shouted at her. He no longer raised his hand to hit her. Instead, he was gentle, loving, and always smiling. He called her sweet names, "My queen, my sunshine, the mother of my future kids." He showered her with gifts, new clothes, expensive shoes, even more money to spend as she liked. He took her on dates, fancy restaurants,
weekend trips, even surprise visits to the spa. Femi was a new man, and Ada, she finally let herself believe it. She convinced herself that maybe, just maybe, he had really changed this time. Maybe the miscarriage had shaken him. Maybe he truly regretted everything. Maybe she had been right to forgive him. Months passed, and Ada got pregnant again. When she told Femi the news, he lifted her in his arms and spun her around like a child. He was so happy that tears filled his eyes. This time, I will do everything right, he promised. And he did. He took care of her like an egg. He made sure she rested. He hired a house help so she wouldn't have to do anything stressful. Every night, he massaged her feet. Every morning, he kissed her belly and spoke to the baby inside. "Daddy loves you, little one," he would whisper. Ada glowed with happiness. For the first time in her life, she felt like she had a perfect marriage. 9 months later, she gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. Femi was overjoyed. He ran around the hospital, telling every nurse, doctor, and patient that he was now a father. "My wife has given me an angel," he shouted. He brought gifts for the hospital staff. He threw a huge naming ceremony, inviting everyone they knew. Femi was a proud father, a loving husband, a changed man. And Ada, she was finally happy. She told herself she had made the right decision to stay, that Femi had truly changed, that life was finally perfect. Her patience has paid off. She had no idea that her nightmare was far from over. Ada's younger sister, Ngozi, had just gotten admission into the university. It was good news for the whole family. Ngozi was the youngest child and everyone loved her so much. But since the university was in the same city where Ada lived, their mother suggested that Ngozi stayed with Ada and Femi. At least she won't have to pay rent, their mother said, and she can also help you with the baby. Ada was happy to have her sister around. Taking care of a newborn baby was not easy, and she needed all the help she could get. Ngozi moved in with them, and at first, everything was fine. Femi was very kind to her. He treated her like his own sister. He bought her small gifts, perfume, handbags, and even expensive body creams. "Your skin is too dry," he told her with a smile. "Use this, it will make you glow." Ada was touched by his kindness. Femi has truly changed, she told herself. He is such a good man now. But after 3 months, something strange started happening. Ngozi suddenly had a lot of money. She bought the latest phones. She changed her hairstyles every week, using the most expensive human hair. She started wearing designer clothes and expensive shoes. She even started taking taxis everywhere instead of public transport. Ada became suspicious. "Where are you getting all this money from?" she asked one evening. "My boyfriend," Ngozi answered quickly. "He takes care of me." "Which boyfriend?" Ada asked. Ngozi only smiled. "You don't know him." Ada didn't like that answer. Ngozi was just a student. How could a university boy afford to give her so much money? "Be careful, Ngozi," Ada warned her. "Not every man that gives you money loves you." But Ngozi only laughed. "Sister, relax. I know what I'm doing." Ada tried to believe her. She tried to convince herself that maybe Ngozi was just lucky. But deep in her heart, something didn't feel right. And soon, her worst fears came true. One evening, Ada was feeding her baby when she noticed that Ngozi looked pale and weak. Her younger sister had been acting strange for the past few days. She was always tired, moody, and avoided eating. Ada watched as Ngozi sat on the couch, her hands shaking slightly. "Ngozi, are you okay?" Ada asked, concerned. "I'm fine," Ngozi mumbled, looking away. But Ada knew she was lying. "You have not been yourself. You don't eat well. You don't sleep well. Tell me the truth. What's wrong?" Ngozi sighed and buried her face in her palms. Ada could see tears rolling down her cheeks. She stood up and walked toward her sister, placing a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Ngozi, talk to me," Ada whispered. "You know I love you, right? Whatever it is, we will find a solution." Ngozi sniffled and nodded slowly. Then, in a shaky voice, she said the word that made Ada freeze. "I'm pregnant." Ada's eyes widened in shock. "Pregnant?" she repeated, almost dropping her baby. "Ngozi, how? When? Who is responsible?" Ngozi wiped her tears and kept silence. "Who got you pregnant, Ngozi?" Ada asked again, her voice rising. Ngozi swallowed hard and took a deep breath. "It's Femi," she finally said. Ada's heart stopped. Her legs became weak. Her hands trembled as she held on the chair for support. "What did you just say?" she whispered. "It's Femi," Ngozi repeated, now sobbing. "He promised me so many things. He said he would take care of me, that he loved me. Sister, I was confused. I didn't plan for this to happen, I swear." Ada felt like the room was spinning. Her husband, the same man who swore that he had changed, the man who she forgave, who she trusted again, he had betrayed her with her own sister. Tears filled her eyes as she stared at Ngozi in disbelief. "You mean all those expensive gifts, all the money, all the late night whispers between you two, it was all because of this?" Ngozi couldn't lift her head. Ada's body shook with anger and pain. She felt like a fool. She had believed Femi's lies. She had defended him. And now she was facing the worst kind of betrayal. "What did Femi say about the pregnancy?" Ada finally asked, her voice shaking. Ngozi hesitated before answering. "He said I should abort it," he said in a low voice. "But I told him I won't do it unless he gives me 5 million naira. Ada gasped. She looked at her sister as if she was seeing a stranger. "Ngozi, do you even hear yourself?" she said, shocked. "You are carrying my husband's child and you are demanding money from him." Ngozi burst into fresh tears. "I'm sorry, sister. I'm sorry," she cried. "I don't know what came over me. Please forgive me." Ada stepped back, shaking her head. She felt like something inside her break. Everything she had worked for, everything she believed in, had been destroyed by the two people she trusted the most. And she knew one thing for sure: her marriage was over. The night after Ada learned the truth, she couldn't sleep. She couldn't confront Femi. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling while Femi slept beside her, completely unaware that his secret was out. Her heart was heavy with pain. How could he do this to her? After everything they had been through, she felt disgusted just lying next to him. By morning, Ada had made up her mind. She was done with this marriage. She would live with her daughter and never look back. But first, she needed answers. She waited until Femi returned from work that evening. As soon as he stepped into the house, she stood in front of him, her arms crossed. "We need to talk." Femi looked at her and sighed. "Can't this wait? I'm tired." "No," Ada said firmly. "It can't wait." She led him to the living room and sat down. Ngozi was nowhere to be found. Maybe she was too ashamed to face her. Femi sat across from Ada, looking irritated. "What is it?" he asked. Ada took a deep breath. "Ngozi is pregnant." Femi blinked. "What?" Don't act surprised, Ada snapped. I know everything. Femi, she told me you got my sister pregnant. Femi's face changed. For the first time in a long while, Ada saw fears in his eyes. Ada, listen, it's not what you think. Shut up, she screamed, slamming her fist on the table. Femi flinched. Don't you dare lie to me. Ada's voice was shaking with anger. You betrayed me, Femi. After everything, you still cheated on me with my own sister. Femi looked down, unable to meet her eyes. I was weak, he muttered. I didn't mean for this to happen. Ada let out a bitter laugh. Weak? That's your excuse, she scoffed. You had an affair with my sister for months. You bought her gifts. You gave her money. You made her believe you loved her. And now she's pregnant. You deceived an 18-year-old girl and got her pregnant, and you call that weak? Femi sighed and ran a hand over his face. I made a mistake, Ada, he said. But please, let's fix this. Don't let this destroy our home. Ada shook her head. There is nothing left to fix. Femi, I'm leaving. Femi's head snapped up. What? You heard me, she said. I'm leaving this marriage. I refuse to stay with a man who has no respect for me. Femi stood up angrily. You are going nowhere, he said. This is my house. If you want to leave, fine, but you are not taking my daughter with you. Ada's eyes darkened. She is my child too, she said, and I won't let her grow up in a toxic home. You are not taking her anywhere, Femi shouted, stepping closer. Ada's heart pounded. Watch me, she said defiantly. The argument escalated quickly. Femi grabbed Ada's wrist and yanked her towards him. You are not taking my daughter away from me, he roared. Ada struggled against his grip. She saw the same rage in his eyes that she had seen before, the same rage that had landed her in the hospital months ago. Fear gripped her, but this time she refused to be a victim. She broke free from his grip and ran into the kitchen. Femi followed her, shouting. Ada grabbed the first thing she saw, a wooden pestle. Stay away from me, Femi, she warned, breathing heavily. But he kept coming. Put that down, Ada, he said. You don't want to do this. Ada's hands were shaking. I said stay back. Femi lunged at her. Out of instinct, Ada swung the pestle. It hit Femi's head with a loud crack. He staggered backward, eyes wide in shock. Then he collapsed and hit his head on the concrete floor. Blood poured around the head. Ada dropped the pestle, her hands trembling. She didn't mean to. She didn't mean to. The sound of Femi's scream filled the house. It attracted the attentions of the neighbors. Femi was rushed to the hospital, but on arriving at the hospital, the doctor confirmed Femi dead. At this point, without anyone telling her, Ada knew her life was shattered. Of course, the law have no excuse for murder. So, Ada was arrested with immediate effect and was charged to court. Ada sat in the courtroom, her hands in cuffs. The judge's voice echoed, Ada, for the crime of manslaughter, you are sentenced to 10 years in prison. Ngozi sobbed. She knew she caused this whole scenario. But Ada, she only stared at the ground. She had loved Femi. She had forgiven him. She had given him another chance. And in the end, it cost her everything. It cost her freedom. The man she loved so much was no more. She killed the father of her own child due to infidelity and domestic violence. This will traumatize her forever. But that was not all. Now she won't even be in the life of her beautiful daughter. Now her daughter would grow up without the love of a father or a mother's love. No one would take care or love her child like she does. She was broken. As the guards led her away, One thought burned in her mind. Regrets. Maybe, just maybe, if she had walked away sooner, she wouldn't be walking into a prison now.